Hello and welcome to Weird Around Illinois. Today we are going to talk about a couple things. One of the things we're going to talk about is AI and how it affects shows about cryptids and YouTube videos about cryptids. And then we are going to introduce AI as our partner to do another podcast like the one that we did last week on the Michigan versus Wisconsin Dogman. So you can hear how AI would do that podcast instead of us. So let's get weird. So what do you guys know about AI? I know you know a lot, but what do you know about AI?
I know that it tends to mess up a lot, but also it's pretty cool how it can pull information from a lot of sources.
A particular website that many people use is actually ChatGPT. You know, it's absolutely incredible at writing scripts, short form essays, a lot of that kind of writing stuff. I mean, if you look at it, if you're not a big writer who can really tell the differences, you would almost think that it's just a normal essay. And if you write details saying you want this source included, it can pull out any information from it. It can even find its own information from other sources on the internet.
The voice, it's kind of a different story though. To kind of make it almost sound like a human, but not quite.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of websites that actually do give, I guess, the free trial of voice AI. And you know, even if you were to pay the money to get the proper AI voice lines, not even gonna be perfect. They're not gonna be normalized. There's always gonna be those weird pauses and all that chaos.
I have a love-hate relationship with AI myself. My first experience with AI was on Tubi. I'm skipping around and then I discovered this video on cryptids which said this video was made entirely with AI. And I watched it and it was kind of boring and kind of monotonous, but I was like, that's really cool. You know, they did it with AI and it kind of proved that it can be done and, good for them. And then they started trying to slip it in everywhere.
One such cryptid that has captured the imagination of many, sightings of this large ape-like creature have been reported in various parts of North America, of the Pacific particularly in witnesses describe Bigfoot.
It was just laziness. It was just people would pick a topic and they would do an entire movie, 90 minutes of AI on a topic, like the Bigfoot one that I think I showed you guys. It's Bigfoot is in Michigan. Bigfoot is real. Bigfoot is over 8 feet tall. Bigfoot likes to live in the woods. Bigfoot, and it melts your brain.
Yeah, it just went nonstop.
Yeah, there's no pauses. There's no punctuation. There's no sorting of the information. It's like they just keep throwing facts at you for 90 minutes, and even repeating some of the same facts over and over. But then I kind of got back in line with AI again with that latest Beatles song that was released now and then, when I found out that they used AI to kind of trim some of the junk out of the recording so that it was a clearer recording of the unfortunately passed on Beatles, John Lennon and George Harrison. They made really a beautiful finished product. I'm like, okay, if used right, AI can be a really good thing.
Yeah, and almost in combination with human stuff.
Right. We're looking at first doing an AI version of a podcast that we did last week, which is Michigan Dogman versus Wisconsin Dogman, so that you all can hear AI's take on it. And then we're going to see what we can learn from that podcast and what we can learn from AI and see if there's any way to incorporate AI into any of our future podcasts in a way that would make them better rather than worse. So with that, I turn it over to you.
Thanks. So before we begin to basically give a brief summary on how we did this somewhat, we need to kind of set some barriers, some limitations, and general rules. So to start off, this entire thing needs to be free. From voice lines to script to video editing, it all needs to be free. There shouldn't be a single penny spent. It should be around 5 minutes. I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea what free trials might bring me to. There's a lot of different problems with getting free trials that, you know, might limit the time. And then there are actually 3 limitations that you need to pay attention to while watching the AI version. The first one is, you know, obviously not natural voice. We talked about that not too long ago. You know, awkward long pauses between sentences. Additionally, it would be better if we had like a timer almost on how long this would have taken, like almost an estimate. It doesn't have to be exact, but, you know, a general estimate of how long it would take to do that versus, you know, regular editing, filming, such. And then the big thing is that there's not real structure to the video. It's just kind of rambling almost, or ranting about some random topic. Now that we get all that chaos out of the way, we need to do the steps. So step 1, basically voice lines. We talked about ChatGPT, what it's capable of. Type out Michigan Dogman sightings versus Wisconsin Dogman sightings, blah blah blah. It writes that out. Then, once you make it good enough, I guess after typing once, then you need to find some kind of free AI voice generator. So yeah, I will say it was a little bit challenging to download them all. It was like I had to go 1 paragraph at a time, copy and paste, copy and paste. And then step 2, which is visual video production. Now the first thing I had to do was use an AI generator that I actually use quite commonly. It's a very useful website. Basically just generate a bunch of images. You could just describe how you want it. Boom, made. And we're going to use all those images for a slideshow, pretty much, a video slideshow with constant movement. We're going to use a separate website to basically produce the animation to the pictures to make it have constant movement. And this is where I had a little bit of conflict or challenge. It only limited me to like having 3 images being able to be animated using AI. And you know, that kind of sucked, because then the rest of them I had to use like manually. I had to push everything and animate it all. So that basically just took away from a lot of the visual thing. It's just kind of annoying. What the website did give me was basically a free soundtrack. I mean, you just add it on, slap it on. You didn't have to do anything. And this took me well over an hour, maybe even 2 hours. It was just painful. I didn't like this part. The last step of this segment is basically to add captions. You just go on CapCut and add captions. You don't have to do anything really, and then hope that there was no errors. Finally, part 3, thumbnail and title. Thumbnail was just another AI generated thumbnail or like photo, and then the title actually naturally came with ChatGPT. So to finish things off, we need to ask the question, was the video at least watchable? And I'll say it's watchable for the first 5 minutes, but if you were to put it in for a full hour, which is what we're talking about on Tubi, those different sites, they are super long and continuous. They just suck. So in the end, this kind of became a quite underdeveloped video. So you had 2 hours for the visual and video production, 1 hour for putting together the voice lines themselves and like squishing them all together, and then an extra 15 minutes to put the, you know, audio, the sound, plus the visual production all in VSDC, then exporting it. That was pretty fast. And then also, was the information given by AI naturally a fair representation of Dogman's history in Wisconsin and Michigan? I would say it's a decent representation, but it's so vague that it's really not even valuable. So long story short, AI is not perfect. You would definitely need a lot of money to actually use this in a proper way. Doing this for free, it's definitely near impossible to get a good outcome from it. If you were to have a super high budget, you could probably imagine what the capabilities would be. There are limits, but they are pretty high limits, I will admit. It's just low. If you don't have a budget, it's just not worth it. Thank you all for watching, and we'd appreciate it if you can subscribe and maybe check out some other videos of ours. And if you want to check out this AI generated video that we created, it should be on screen right now. You can go ahead and click it, check it out if you want to. So yeah, thank you very much.